Matt, so good to see you. We're diving into the headlines today with an important question. How do you know if your advisor is working for you? I'm asking in light of this recent story, which is just incredible. A financial advisor in Georgia pleaded guilty to one of the largest Ponzi schemes in the state's history, defrauding more than 2,000 investors out of roughly $380 million. So, what are the key signs that a financial advisor is acting in their client's best interest? And how does the fiduciary standard play into that?
Great questions, Aaron. And unfortunately, these things happen all the time. They've been going on for decades, and they're always going to be here. I'm going to focus on the first word, and that was financial advisor. So this was a guy that at one time was a financial advisor, but then at the time of most of these crimes, his license was not held at any firm. So he wasn't registered at the time with the SEC. And in this world, you could be an insurance guy, you could be a mortgage guy, nothing wrong with those things, but you can say you're in the financial services industry or sector, or use some term that implies that you are a financial advisor. That does not mean you are. So make sure, first and foremost, that they are a licensed, registered financial advisor. And secondly, you do want to make sure that they're working in your best interest as a fiduciary.
Right. It does come down to doing your homework first. So let's get into some more specifics. In light of this Ponzi scheme, what questions should investors ask when evaluating the credibility and trustworthiness of a prospective advisor?
A common theme that these perpetrators do is they create their own bank, if you will. So you write the check to their firm name. We don't do that. I've never been a part of a company that's done that. That is just red flags. I would not go with any custodian that you're not familiar with. We use Charles Schwab, Fidelity, things like that. You want it to be a custodian that is commonplace and known, because a custodian like that is going to give you visibility and transparency and access. You're going to be able to log into your account and see your funds.
Right.
Another thing you want to do is research the investment, the QSIP or the ticker. You want to be able to, if it's a registered security, you're going to be able to look it up and see it and read the prospectus. Another thing I would say is at high level, one big red flag that we've seen recently is you want to watch out for self-directed IRAs. So what happens in this world is everyone has their social media feeds, their YouTube channels, and their friends. And often someone's going to come to you and say, I got a deal. I got an investment, and you need to buy gold in a self-directed IRA. And that works great with some, I imagine, until it doesn't. Because what happens with a lot of those self-directed IRA is not regulated by the SEC. It's on their own. They're probably going to have their own custodian. And yes, it sounds great. But what we've seen a lot recently is people paying a large commission to buy some unique old coin. You got to get this coin. There's only 1,000 of them or whatever it is. And after that one, they're going to make 1,000 more of some other little version of it. But what happens is when you go to cash it out, you find out that, I lost 20% or 30%, or I'm not getting the current price. So many things to keep an eye out for.
Yeah, I like that you brought up the fact too that it's often emotional, right? That false scarcity where you feel compelled that you have to act or make a decision. That's a really good point. And on that note, how should an investor interpret promised returns, especially when someone is using the word guaranteed or promoting consistently high returns?
Well, if it's too good to be true, it is. If someone's promising you and using the word guarantee at a 20, 30, 40% like this guy was, that's not legit. I'll just say that right now. If he was getting that kind of return, he would just be putting all his money in it and he would be talking to you, right? But just to be clear, in the insurance industry, the people can use the word guaranteed, but then you're talking about like a fixed annuity paying 3, 4, 5%, right? No one in the financial services sector talking about investments is ever going to use the word guaranteed. We just don't.
Right. Now, you've mentioned the word transparency before. Transparency, of course, is crucial. How often should clients expect performance reports and updates?
We mail them out quarterly, and Schwab and Fidelity generate them in your account monthly. And we do annual reviews. Some clients like more, some clients like less. But our phone is always on. We're here for you. We're reachable.
Right. So if an investor suspects something is wrong, what are the practical steps they should take immediately to protect their assets and get clarity?
Call the custodian that has the funds now. Call them directly and get the data on your account from them. In addition to that, you can work with another advisor to see if you can they'll give you some free advice. If someone calls me and says, Matt, I got this investment, I want you to look at it. If they're not a client, that's totally fine. I will look at it. And then from there, in addition to that, you're going to get some legal help. You need to reach out to an attorney, someone that can help you research the investments and see if it's legit or not.
Right. Yeah. This is a highly regulated industry, which comes back to your first point, Matt. Do your homework, check that they're licensed, because if they are legit, they have to go through many, many steps and continuing ed. This is such a valuable conversation to talk through, Matt. I'm glad that you made time to chat with me about it today. On that note of you providing a second opinion, if somebody would like to talk this through with you or get a second opinion, what's the best way to reach you?
The best way is by phone, 425-256-3105. And whoever answers the phone can schedule a one-on-one appointment with you. And we can do that in person or Zoom, whatever you like. We work with people all across the country. That's or great. If you prefer, throw me an email, mberkland@choosevault.com.
Great. Matt, thank you so much for your time today. I really do appreciate it.
Thanks, Aaron.